And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another weekly review with The Robot, brought to you by the Movie Pope. And here he is, bolts and nuts akimbo, The Robot.
2025 has been a pretty rough year, as we've had to say goodbye to a lot of icons in pop culture. On this channel in particular, we've said our goodbyes to Robert Redford and Reiner by reviewing movies that embody their ethos. But there's one actress who's been conspicuous in our tributes lately, and as the year comes to a close, I feel it is my responsibility to redress that. Seriously, leave it to a robot to be responsible, seeing as my colleagues have been a no-show since they took off for vacation 6 weeks ago, and I haven't heard a peep from them since. So, on the last Monday of 2025, I am going to doff my hat to the ethereal Diane Keaton. And boy, oh boy, it's been a pretty difficult task in trying to find a movie to review that exemplifies her art that isn't Annie Hall. After some deliberation, I settled on the Woody Allen-directed classic Manhattan from 1979. Keaton brings in the same comedic zest she exhibited in Annie Hall, and yet she isn't as prominent as before. Rather, she works her way into the conversation, slowly settling in until she takes center stage. But there's a beauty in the fleeting presence. The less we see of them, the greater the presence they make while on screen, and then we want more. Diane Keaton definitely got that down pat. She plays the best friend you can't help but fall in love with. God, the only other person who accomplishes that so expertly is Jennifer Aniston, but she's just imitating the original. So, Diane, it took us a while, and sorry for my colleagues, but I do love you. And baby, if you'll permit me, I want to give you a send-off that says goodbye not only to you but to 2025. You are a star now flying among the stars, and that ain't so bad. There is no doubt that Manhattan is Allen's love letter to the city, particularly to Manhattan. Man, what a strange island it is, and this is coming from a Long Island homebody such as myself. Anyway, what we get in Manhattan is a Woody Allen curated exhibition. He wants us to see New York the way he sees it, so it's not too different from going on one of those bus tours where you see the highlights of the city. To Allen's credit, he isn't focusing on the buildings but the people, where we see the literati crowd mingling in their cocktail parties and coming in and out of each other's lives. On the surface level, these writers and academics are spouting highfalutin thoughts and complicated words, but they're simply as screwed up as the rest of us. It's fun to see these people congregate in museums, parks, art galleries, restaurants, and the theaters, along with the living rooms and private studies of individual apartments. But isn't that New York, really, just hanging out in friends' apartments, laying bare all the minutiae of daily life and not really looking for a solution, but just venting because we're too polite to blow up and make a scene in the public square? But all the shots of New York and Manhattan aren't about giving us the glamorous take that will make the tourism board's brochure, but an honest look at how real people and show us where they go when they want to unwind or just get their kick. From a simple deli to the Guggenheim, I personally wish they would have shown the Met Cloisters, but hey, I'm not the director here. I gotta admit, there's a bit of a Lolita vibe in this movie. Woody Allen plays a 42-year-old writer named Isaac who is gallivanting about town with Tracy, a 17-year-old who seems perpetually condemned to studying for her next day exams. I guess while we're making comparisons here, I might as well chuck Catcher in the Rye in the mix, with Holden Caulfield talking down to his squeeze whenever the opportunity presents itself. As much as I enjoy a good Woody Allen flick every now and then, in this movie he comes off as a sleaze who plasters modernity as an excuse for the way he lives his life. But when his ex writes a tell-all book, all of a sudden modern sensibilities go out the window for the sake of privacy. I believe the kid's call is a double standard. It's downright hilarious that Isaac frets over his ex writing a book fearing exposure when he behaves in such a way that makes you question his integrity. For God's sake, he quits his job over the audience's sense of humor. So if he's worried about never working in the industry again, I think the book will do far less damage than what he already did to himself. Tracy is this young ingenue who is just getting her feet wet in the world, so naturally, she could do with an experienced guide, but Isaac is the last person anyone would or should turn to for advice. After all, he seems more like the taking type of putz who's good for paying for a club sandwich or keeping secrets, but don't count on him to tell you if you should go to London to study drama, that's for sure. Diane Keaton plays Mary, who is dating Yale, one of Isaac's friends. Mary, to say the least, hasn't been lucky in the love department, and being in this current situation, she's batting for two. She's in a terrible bind. Someone who thinks her main squeeze, Yale, is in love with her but can't even find the time to spend a few hours walking in the park. And she isn't a home wrecker, but someone who just wants to be loved. I enjoy how in the beginning she comes off as a know-it-all that gets even Isaac all bent out of shape, but it's all a mask. While Isaac is, in my opinion anyway, unsympathetic, Mary definitely tugs on the heartstrings a tad bit. Keaton knows how to play her as both the strong-willed friend but the desperate lover who isn't entirely sure if she should go all in, given her past. In other words, she plays an actual human being. Go figure. It's a little weird how Yale just pawns her off to Isaac when he proves inadequate to just give her a smidge of attention, as if she's a burden who's gotta be shared by everyone just to pass the time. It's as if Manhattan was one giant caboose where everyone chips in, you know? And Isaac isn't well equipped to handle the burden as he's dealing with his own problem, in the form of Tracy. Mary is left out in the cold, because Yale is still tied to his wife Emily and Isaac and Tracy are doing the Ross and Rachel bit. Diane Keaton gives us a vulnerable person who, for all her pretensions, just wants to be wanted and have someone to call her own. It's a bit annoying that she keeps reciting the mantra that she's young and beauty and she can get anyone she wants. And if she believes that mantra as many times she recites it, she would and could do better. Manhattan is a story about love, but not in the way we think. It's misplaced love, really, because Isaac's one true love isn't Tracy or Mary or even his kid but the city of New York, the borough of Manhattan to be specific. When it comes to other people, he's definitely on the struggle bus. Diane Keaton as Mary isn't the one to swoop in and show him the meaning of true love, nor is she the definitive one who changes his life forever where he's fretting and pining over her like Alvy and Annie Hall. In fact, Annie Hall is a far more straightforward romance, whereas Manhattan plays into the trope of love is complicated. I love how Diane Keaton isn't out to prove she's the one you want to take home to mama and start a family with, but someone with agency who is just as befuddled about what she wants out of life as anyone else. As I mentioned in my review of 500 Days of Summer, she isn't this idol on a pedestal that is pure and perfect, but an actual person who cannot possibly fit the exaggerated expectations of a lover but is only out to ever find a modicum of happiness in this world. She's the sympathetic here you can tell your problems to, but don't expect her to magically sweep away all of your worries and woes. As I mentioned in the intro, Jennifer Aniston is probably the closest to matching what Diane Keaton did, but even then, it's a stripped-down, simplified version, kinda like the introductory course. Aniston definitely plays the best friend who is the emotional crutch that unwittingly becomes the object of desire, but she makes the mistake of giving in rather than pulling back, something which Diane Keaton does so well. And it's that slight difference that makes Keaton the mistress of her domain, the kind of which we're not likely to see again in our lifetime. Well, your lifetime, anyway. We robots aren't limited by lifespans like you flesh bags. Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for watching, and if you don't mind, please leave us a like. It helps a lot. And while you're at it, subscribe so you never miss an episode drop. This is the robot signing off.